Happy Devils Monday. I'm coming to you live, pop-up podcast, The Woo Report. I'm live from Marlton, New Jersey at Chickie's and Pete's. Wow. I'm just munching down. I know I'm supposed to be on a diet right now, Nick, but I am munching down thinking, what happened today with Tom Fitzgerald leaving the bench so suddenly and is back upstairs as assistant GM. And I was, I'll do a little zoom in here. Here are the crab fries that I ordered. The wonderful crab fries at Chickie's and Pete's. Let's get a better angle shot right there. Doesn't that look yummy? I mean, this is like you dip it in cheese. It was good. And then I got the lobster tails. You want to see the lobster tail? Well, lobster tail right here. These things are killer. They put that crab fries seasoning on it. Yummy. It's great seafood here at Chickie's and Pete's. And I see food and I eat it, even though I should be on a diet right now. Nick, what are your thoughts about Tom Fitzgerald leaving the bench? I mean, did he see what he wanted to see? And, what does that mean at this point?
I mean, all I can think about, Sam, and I don't want to get political here, but I'm going to real quick, is all I can think about is when George W. Bush put the big mission accomplished sign up on the big ship. Like, we did it. We figured it out. We beat Detroit. Mission accomplished. We did it. All right, Tommy Fitz, get back here. You did your job. You fixed the Devils. We're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. No need for anything else, right, Sam? We got it going. Doesn't matter that the Penguins destroyed us. Doesn't matter that Boston destroyed us. Doesn't matter any of that because we beat the Detroit Red Wings with Pavel Zacha and Jesper Bratt. They were clearly the problem. 100%. They need to be out of the lineup forever, apparently, because the Devils scored 5 on a team that probably couldn't stop you and me and David Decker in the chat here.
Well, I think he probably just got a little lonely and missed his family, possibly. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning. But, I mean, big whoop, a big win over the Detroit Red Wings after losing so badly in Pittsburgh. I wouldn't say it is mission accomplished per se, but I get what you're saying, Nick.
I was being 100% sarcastic. None of that was true.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Just to make sure that everybody out there knows, that was absolutely not. This is insane. How are you taking another asset off the bench, off this bench? Are you already it makes me think. So here's what I think, Sam, is that for real, I think something else is coming. I think something big is coming. So one of two things could be coming. It could be a major change behind the bench, or it could be a major trade that Ray Shero needs all of his assets for, all of his brain trust for. It's one or the other. There's no way that they just took him off the bench just because.
I'm dying to know what the scouting report is on his experience on the bench. I mean, how many games was he on the bench? About 7, 8 games? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was at least something like that. I don't remember the exact number. I didn't count personally, but it was close to 10, if not 10. So, I mean, we're 21, 22 games in the season, one of those numbers. So we only got 60 games left, and you took one of your assets off the bench. You took a Stanley Cup winning asset off the bench. And I didn't think that he was going to change everything, but I thought it was something, and that's all we've been asking for all season is just do something. And then they keep doing all these little things and then changing back. Like their big do something was to take Zacha and Brad out of the lineup and replace him with John Hayden and Brett Cini. Like Cini's a nice player. He's having He's having a nice season in the AHL, but like, Sam, I don't know. I don't know the decision making. And then we come out of this Detroit game. We look good in Detroit. Congratulations! Like, you should look good against Detroit. You have phenomenal. Like, you played Jonathan Bernier in net, and you couldn't score on him for 2 periods. You looked terrible until the 3rd period. So
I'm not sold. I'm not sold on anything the Devil. All these victories, they're playing backup goaltenders essentially. It's. I think the competition level that they're getting some of these wins against is not very impressive, thus far. But except for maybe a couple of them. But to be honest, I kind of feel it. Like, I think he has a sense of the mood in the locker room. I think he has a sense being, I hate to use this term, a quote unquote mole inside that that's going to be obviously reported back to GM Ray Shero. With the Taylor Hall situation, with the season going not as planned, I didn't think that they would be this bad. I mean, I knew that there was going to be growing pains. You should expect that. I knew Jack Hughes being a rookie, first NHL season, but now he's starting to get going. I mean, what I will say, though, is I had Section 1 seats down at Prudential Center against Detroit, so I got a good firsthand look at Jack Hughes. They literally could not stop him, Nick. They could not stop him. He had an answer for anything the defenseman, if they're going to poke his stick, all right, the puck's already off to somebody else. And he was so smooth, and, it's just only a matter of time where this kid is going to really break out and be a difference maker. But at this point, right now, the Devils need to start putting wins together, starting being consistent, because this whole Jekyll and Hyde thing is actually, from a fan standpoint, is kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. I don't blame any of the fans. This is insane. And I don't remember if it was Bryce or Kenny on I believe it was their Tuesday game against Boston, was talking about, they'll win 2 in a row and they'll look amazing, and they'll take 5 steps back the very next game, and then they'll look like garbage again. And then they did it for 2 games in a row. This time against Pittsburgh, they dominate Pittsburgh, and then Pittsburgh just came and just put the whooping on them, just laid down the woodwork on them. And at the end of the day, it's just the same story, Sam. It's the same story over and over and over and over. The Devils are the definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You can't keep doing this, expecting to win games. You're not going to win games. You're doing the same thing that you did when you went 0-4-3 to start the season. You're still doing that. And you're expecting it to just turn around. You're going to win 5 games in a row and get back in this race. It's November, and people don't know whether. I mean, I'm sure Ray Shero's sitting here, and this is sad to say, but Ray Shero's sitting here November 25th and saying, I might have to sell again. And the only good thing this year is he's got good assets and a good draft. So, getting another first-round pick or 2 or 3 based on the assets that you have would be a big deal. But that's also going to set the franchise back another year of rebuild. Because then if you take Hall off this team, and you take Vatanen off this team, and you don't replace them with high-level NHLers, then you are looking at another 2 to 3 years of no playoffs. And I'm serious. You can't just replace these players with nothing. And, especially with the coaching staff that you have in place. Like, whether you think that John Hynes is a good coach or not, that's fine. He's not Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz is the best coach in the business. The New York Islanders, Lou Lamoriello got his guy. He kind of fell into him because Lou got there late, fired the coach late. Then Barry Trotz and Washington had a falling out. So they kind of got lucky there. The Devils don't have that situation. I don't think Babcock's the answer. I know a lot of really smart people who don't think Babcock's the answer for the Devils. So I don't think that's a situation. One thing that I'm really paying attention to And I know I'm going off on a tangent, and I'll let you speak in 1 second. You're enjoying your crab fries, though. But
I'm waiting for the lobster
answer,
tails, to be honest with you.
no worries. But I think the answer would be perfect for the Devils would be John Cooper. If the Lightning decide to move on from John Cooper, I think he's the perfect guy to come in here. He had that first experience. He made it to a Stanley Cup final. Kind of, it's kind of what you thought you were going to get in DeBoer and what DeBoer looked like he was going to bring here. But DeBoer kind of fell off because he's kind of got that old school mentality, that same mentality that Babcock has. John Cooper's got that same experience, but with a different mentality. So if we could get that guy, I mean, I'm all for it.
I think that would be a great choice. Right now, you got to stay away from Mike Babcock. He's coached. He's a great coach. The Ducks, the Detroit Red Wings. These are top markets. Also, you have Toronto, biggest market up in Canada. Probably the biggest market in the NHL, some would say. But
yeah,
the guy needs some time off. Because some of the stories you're hearing, look, I take it with a grain of salt. From a fan standpoint, of course, it's water cooler talk, so to speak. But as a Devils fan, I want Ray Shero to be focused on winning a Stanley Cup right now. And right now, the way things are going, not too pleased. I don't want another rebuild. I want to win now. This rebuild has gone on forever. And I'm impatient. And also, yeah, when it's really loud here, I mean, this place is happening. I mean, after happy hour, still people are just drinking and this and that, talking about their Philly sports and the Philly and this and that. But anyway, right now, I think that the Devils need to be in a win now mentality, because you know what's going to happen with season tickets? Fans are going to start leaving. We've been 5-year plan. The ownership group came in 2013. Okay, after Lou left, we know it's a full 2020 is just around the corner from 2015. This is Ray Shero's mess. This is not Lou Lamoriello's mess. And by the way, if you look across the river, point streak, pretty much they're playing at historic levels. A great start, the New York Islanders. I mean, you can't help but look across the rivers and look at our cousins, because we both hate the Rangers. And of course, David Conte leaves, goes to the Golden Knights, first-year expansion. The players he helped pick, they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. There's a problem there. After all that winning, yes, Conte had his struggles with, he had some Swedish thing, and Tenenby didn't work out. Joseph didn't work out. Larson didn't really work out, other than a big trade, which was orchestrated by Shero. We're tired of this. And right now, whatever happens. But I just hope that they're in a win now mentality. And I hope these analytics people get it right, because there's the segue, Nick. Is there an analytics person on the horizon? I was trying to tee it up for you.
Oh, you could have teed it up. I'm not sure. Right. Yeah, there's a situation going on, but it doesn't matter. I'm working on it. There's things to be worked on. It's fine.
Yep.
Either way, we are going to go in the numbers this Wednesday. We're going to kind of go deep into that, and we'll figure it out. Bryce Salvador's coach, Benny Shasa, says Bryce Salvador should be D coach. I don't think he wants to coach. I think he really likes his job, and he's getting better at his job. So I think that I kind of like him where he's at, kind of that between the benches guy, that analyst on the intermission show with Erika. I think that MSG actually put a really good team together, but I don't know what Stevens is doing with his life, Scott Stevens, because he obviously left Minnesota to come home to New Jersey to spend more time with his family. I wonder if he did that with kind of a thought that something could come up in New Jersey soon, or maybe he was looking at New York. Who knows? I mean, I know New York had an opening, and they can have another opening soon because a lot of people aren't happy with their coach. There's a lot going on.
A few things. Number one, maybe Minnesota sucks to live at, and I'm just, trying to talk a little trash before the game tomorrow against the Minnesota Wild at Prudential Center at 7 p.m.
About that.
Also, I did visit Bryce and Erika during the second intermission, and kudos to them. Now, there was a post of Dynamic Duo on our social media pages. You know what was really impressive about those two, aside from the chemistry and all that? They don't use a teleprompter. They do not use a teleprompter. No, I was shocked. I asked the producer, I'm like, I don't see a teleprompter. He's like, no, they do it ad-lib. They're just do it on the fly, which is awesome. But I guess there's not really enough time to load stuff into the prompter, right? Unless it's a pre-scheduled segment, or interview or this and that. But I was very impressed, and kudos to Erika and Bryce. They've improved so much, and I'll tell you what, intermission reports, getting Bryce's analysis, and when he goes to the screen and then he points out some of these plays and dissects it. I don't want Bryce, being a D coach. I want to hear his analysis of what's the breakdown, what's going right, what's going wrong, and Erika. Everyone loves Erika, so.
Yeah, I mean, Erika might have been the best asset they signed last year.
Oh, I know. Tim Clark Callahan says, Sam, eat your fries. They are no good cold. Yeah, same with these lobster tails, Tim. They're great, but I might have them take it to the microwave or back to the grill.
What are you microwaving lobster tail?
You know what, Nick? I don't cook. I just podcast, right? And this podcast is made possible. This podcast is made possible by Nova Product Design, powered by Nova Product Design on the Primetime Radio Network. Sorry, I had to plug that in there since everybody sees the logos. But yeah, I don't cook. My wife can she'll say I only cook once a year, once in a blue moon. But when I do cook, it's pretty good. But I already met my quota this year, so as she's probably watching, thinking you're supposed to be on your diet. And what are you eating? Crab fries and lobster tails. But you know what? It's so good. And the muscles.
Did you marry Mickey Mouse?
No.
That's the same thing as your Mickey Mouse voice.
Don't get me in trouble, Nick. Do not get me in trouble, okay? I've been traveling all day. I was at the Prudential Center, at the Marty statue, this and that. I figured, do a couple pop-up podcasts when there's news and did a little preview game. Even you were surprised. You're like, hey, you're previewing games now. I was like, yeah, I was just trying it out at the statue. And, we take the show on the road. That's what we said. We invested in a mobile studio so I could take it anywhere, produce it anywhere. And by the way, pop-up podcast, PJ Ryan's, Devils Rangers, Beers for Breakfast, I guess. I don't know how we should bill it, but we'll be there, or at least I'll be there. And also, we have December 7th, Grant Marshall, Colin White, live event, live podcast, live viewing party. Just mingle, have some beers at Tavern on the Rocks in beautiful Rockaway, New Jersey, in the heart downtown of Rockaway, New Jersey, 9 Wall Street. It's just going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see a lot of fans there. Sorry, I just had to get some plugs in. But, Nick, I've never seen you wear that hat on our podcast. That's a pretty nice hat.
Yeah, this is the official fan-sided hat. It's got the gold emblem. I figured if I was doing the surprise podcast, I'd rock the the big boss over here, the people who run the Pucks and Pitchforks fan-sided. Make sure you check them out. Yeah, I got a couple pieces on the front page too every so often. So you'll see a familiar name up there. Obviously, my main focus is the New Jersey Devils, but and we got a lot of stuff coming, Sam. We got a lot of pieces coming. I
know,
but you brought up Jack Hughes. I just want to ask you, what did you think of his line of Hughes, Boquist, and Wayne Simmons?
He makes them look pretty good. If they can find an open slot and all the focus is on Jack Hughes, I like the line, but I think there's better combinations. I'm tired of these combinations. Like every other Devils fans, changing. When it works, it seems like he keeps on changing it. I mean, it's ridiculous that what he's doing. But I will say though, I like having Wayne Simmons to protect Jack Hughes because he gets picked on. I mean, he's a rookie. He's the big stud. You need to have a Marty McSorley like person to in this day and age. But when I'm talking about it, it's a little different from back in the 80s. To protect your star player and the Devils' biggest asset. And Boquist, give him some time. He looked pretty good, but he just needs some time out there and play. And with this kind of roster, I don't know how much playing time he's really going to get.
Yeah, I'm not so thrilled with how Boquist played with Hughes. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said Hughes made them look good, because he did. But I don't think Boquist made himself look good at all. I actually wrote that I think that they should do the Gusev Hughes thing again. You tried it when Gusev first got there and Hughes got there, and they both got railroaded by other teams. But that's because they're both getting used to the NHL speed. Gusev has actually been playing really well, and you showed that you're willing to take him off the Zajac Coleman line. You just blew that line up. They're all on different lines now. So why don't you just put him back with Hughes? Gusev can finish. We saw that. Hughes is going to put him in amazing positions, and he's going to set himself up while the defense is chasing him. Gusev in the past 5 games, 2 of them, he was either the top guy in Corsi 4 or second in Corsi 4 percentage on the team. So that was what it was. The problem was that he was allowing too many chances, but he's getting more of those chances now, and he's finishing those chances, which is something the Devils need.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The only way to get consistent playing time is to keep the lines together, and I'm wondering what's going to happen tomorrow. And I said this on the previous Move Report at the Marty statue. Do what you want. Jekyll and Hyde. Next 2 games, fine. Change the lines, fine, but don't screw it up against the Rangers. I'm sure they're really going to take me a fan seriously, but seriously, do not screw it up with the Rangers, because I'll tell you what's going to happen. The Devils lose 10-0 or blow another lead against the Rangers.
Yeah, I'd rather lose 10-0 than blow another lead.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I would rather lose 10-0 than. No, I mean they're not. I mean it's not looking good, Sam, and it's. I don't know. We got a lot to talk about on Wednesday. We're gonna get into it, but just to kind of go full circle on this, it makes no sense that Tom Fitzgerald's going back to the top unless unless Ray is worried about some of his other duties like Binghamton, or he has a big trade to work out. But I don't know why send him down there in the first place then.
Yeah. Well, time will tell what's really going on. I sense some big moves in the next month. Who's it going to be? But I know tomorrow, if the Devils win, we'll be all cheering for our team. And I hope they can put 2 games together, because right now I don't want to rebuild. I want to reload, and they've got to fix this. Take it 1 game at a time and see what happens. Well, Nick, it was a pleasure. Thank you for making some time for the Woo Report as Tom Fitzgerald leaves the bench and goes upstairs to his assistant GM duties. We'll be back Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. State of the Fan address powered by Pucks and Pitchforks blog on Fansided. Nick, till next time, let's go Devils.